All right, I'm recording. Let's start this shit. All right, we're here. You can see us. All right.
What up?
What is today? Wednesday? Wednesday? All right, yeah, it's Wednesday.
It's hump day for all the employees out there.
Hump day. They're like, yo, just 2 more days, and then I can black out for the weekend and maybe watch some sports.
American dream.
I don't know, man. If you like your job, you like your job, but so many people don't, you know?
Well, the thing is, they don't admit it. They don't admit it to themselves, and they don't admit it to others.
There are a lot of people who they convince themselves that they're happy. I do see that, you know? But that doesn't, but that means still, yeah, you're not happy. All right, we got a lot of shit to talk about today. We were going to talk about some other things, but there's some semi breaking news at the moment coming out of Baton Rouge. This guy Alton
Coming out of Baton Rouge like little Boosie.
Exactly. This guy Alton Sterling, he was shot and killed. He was shot 5 times by police last night, and he was killed. They had him on the ground.
What is this guy? What is he? Black, white, Chinese?
What color do you think he is? If you
Well,
if you had to play,
you said this guy.
If you had to play the fucking killed by cops lottery, what color do you think he's gonna be? If you were gonna pick your numbers, if it was white, Black, Pacific
Okay, you
Islander,
already made your point. Let me guess. Hold on. God, you're gonna ruin it. Going on and on. If I had to pick on somebody
yeah,
I would have to say I'm gonna go white man. I mean, the cops are always persecuting white people. They're the persecuted race. I mean, I'm sure. So he's a white guy, right? No. What? No.
Actually, no. Actually,
Police
this time
don't pick on.
This time it was a black guy, dude. I know.
Really?
I know, dude.
That's fucking rare. The police are gonna mistreat a black man and shoot him for no reason.
But I know it sounds weird. I remember we had the whole civil rights movement,
I thought it was reverse racism that was going on, and I thought it was black cops shooting white people.
No, that's
this is crazy. I gotta hear this. I haven't heard this story.
A
cop killed a black guy. Holy shit, that's fucking rare.
Is Baton Rouge? Is that like a little neighborhood in Chirac?
I'm not really sure. I don't know where you're going with
Louisiana? It's in Louisiana. And it was a black.
I thought it was the name of a Little Boosie song.
Yeah, it was.
Baton Rouge. That's all I can hear when I see him. All right, so he's a black guy. Okay,
yeah.
I'm just kidding. Obviously, a cop killed a black guy. It's like what's happening. It's what's hot in the streets right now.
Yeah,
cops are like.
Yeah, it's a black guy. He was killed. He got killed by the police. Obviously, they said that it's 2 white cops. And he.
I haven't heard this story yet.
I've got a
been
video.
too caught up. I've been being too irresponsible, fucking watching the Euro 2016 and managing Rich and managing shit. So I haven't been doing my job on this end. That's why it's Billy's show. He's got it today. He's the man today.
Yeah.
So you'll get to see my reaction to this first.
Pretty much running the show.
Oh, is that the guy right there?
Yeah, that's him.
He doesn't look dangerous. Why would they shoot him? He looks like a nice guy.
If you look in this picture, he's got his hands behind his back.
He must be reaching for something.
He's probably got guns back there.
Well,
so
that's why are you assuming? I said he's probably reaching for something, and you're like, he's got guns. Why? Because he's black?
No, because I'm white and I'm scared.
Raps?
I'm scared.
Yeah, I remember when I used to shoot music videos. I still do, but back a lot. I mean, I shot music videos for all kinds of people: black people, white people, Hispanics, all kinds. I never had issues when I was shooting white music videos, right? But on multiple occasions, and this is kind of, it's not fair because it's hard with context to put it, because when I was in Germany, I was with a bunch of Egyptian and Turkish dudes, and the police stopped them asking for us and asked for papers and stuff too, because they looked foreign. But specifically in Baltimore, when I was shooting a music video, we were just out in the streets doing nothing wrong. We were just hanging out. There was no mob vibe. It was about 20 guys, and they're all just hanging out. We're waiting for the next scene. The cops show up, and they're like, "Fuck you guys doing here? You need to disperse." And I was actually in active duty in the army at the time, and so I they didn't feel like arguing. You know, they feel like, all right, cops are here. They have, even though they know technically they're legally allowed to be allowed to do what they're doing. They weren't doing anything illegal. It wasn't even loitering because it wasn't in front of a store. It wasn't anything like that. The cops were just like, get the fuck out of here. The guys didn't want to argue. I got involved, and I was like, look, guy, look, even though I'm Mexican, Latino, but, you know, since we're all Mexicans, I had to get in there, and I was like, I'm active duty military. There's nothing wrong going on here. He's like, well, you know, we had it back and forth, and then at the end, he was like, well, just make sure everything's under control here. So basically, he was basically saying, control your niggas. Like, he had to get authorization from somebody who was in a position that wasn't, you know, that he knew that I could retaliate somehow because I have a voice and I can go complain to someone and he could be held accountable. No one's going to hold him accountable when he tells a bunch of people, black people, on the streets of Baltimore what to do. So that's just a little personal story since everybody likes to throw out personal stories. That has to do with this situation.
Well,
of course, if you're black, you're going to get fucking targeted. Well, period. Or Latino.
I've got a bit of a personal story about the time when the police told me to disperse.
And they were like,
oh wait, they didn't. Ha ha! They never told me to disperse.
They were like, you have cocaine? You're a white man. You're good to go. Have a nice day.
They're like, carry on. They're like, hey, you want to shoot my gun? you want to turn on the siren? Yes, officer. Yeah. So we got a video. This is. I think there's 2 videos going around right now, but this is the
You didn't check Best Score, did you?
I did check Best Score.
BestScore.com for the best video.
I checked Best Score. I checked Live League. I checked around. There's one that the media outlets have right now. It's more of like an overhead view. It's more of a direct view, but they're not releasing the full clip. So you don't get to see what happens. I guess because it's violent, but it's dude getting shot 5 times. But
Americans don't like violence.
We got the other first run clip that's kind of going around everywhere. So I'm gonna pull that up and we're gonna watch it right now. This is
man, that's some high quality fucking footage.
This is Luna's first time watching it, so yeah, you're watching along with him.
This is the first time I've seen a white cop abuse a black man. This is gonna be interesting.
Wow.
Oh, there you go. Preparation H.
Hey, phone's ring. All right, so. Let's do it.
You're on the ground! You're on the ground! Hey, bro, you're on the fucking ground! Hey, bro! You fucking move, I swear to God! What you doing for the day?
Oh shit!
2 shots.
They shot him? Oh my fucking goodness!
Oh, you finna kill this boy!
Wow, that was that police officer was clearly in danger. I don't know what you're talking about. But see, what you don't understand is the African Americans have it in their genes that when their arms are behind their back, it's not like the rest of the human race, where we're kind of like vulnerable when we're like in this position. But the thing is about black people, right? They get like double strength. So when you actually have your knee in their back and they have their face in the ground, what you don't realize is that they actually become 10 times stronger than they usually are.
Yeah.
So it's very dangerous.
And it's not actually it's not because like their body is necessarily 10 times stronger. It's a pure adrenaline thing, because what happens is when the arms lock behind the back, does something like in their shoulder blades. It actually pushes up into their neck and it causes kind of like a spasm, and at the time it triggers adrenaline and they start to seize. So
and then they transform.
So their body starts moving. So they're not actually resisting. It's just it's a medical scientific condition, you know?
It's actually what happens is they transform and they grow wings, and yeah, so like I can totally see where the cop was completely fearing for his life. Totally justified. I don't see what the problem is here. I don't see what the problem is.
I got some other stuffs right here. Let's check it. So They say who was Alton Sterling? What do we know so far about him?
I mean, does it matter? They shot him in the back for no reason. It doesn't matter who you are. They didn't even do that to fucking El Chapo.
Correct.
Oh man, gold teeth. He deserved it. He had gold teeth.
So let me get into this. So he was that the community says he was quote.
Who's the community? What community?
What is this shit doing?
Your computer's freezing.
It's like I'm a freeze right now.
Hey, you guys want to watch me piss Billy off because your computer's slow.
Computer's not slow.
There he goes. That's all it takes. Just
The
make fun of his
computer
computer.
is not slow.
Look at him. Oh, look at that wheel.
What is it doing? You go back over here. You guys can see me over here, right?
That's slow ass computer. That's because you have a Windows.
Fucking Windows, yeah. No, it's.
Well, who is this community you were speaking of? I'm trying to keep the flow going instead of.
I'm trying to keep the flow going.
I'm trying to keep the conversation going because people didn't come here to watch you.
Okay, here. Well, let me just refresh the page.
What did the community have to say?
They said he was a good guy.
Well, I hope so.
The store owner said that he was where he was at. He said that he was out front selling DVDs. He gave him permission to be out there selling DVDs, so it wasn't a big deal. The cops
was a stoner, a black or a white guy? These are all
I
important.
believe it was an Indian guy.
Oh, neutral. Got neutral territory.
And they said
Indians have dark skin with white people hair. If you ever noticed.
Here's
like, I'm totally not gonna.
Hey,
it's true. Have you ever noticed that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So local resident never saw him coming in here with a weapon. Never saw him drunk.
Jesus. Is that really what it comes down to?
They talk about his history. I don't know why his history matters for what happened in that moment, you know? Family members said he was on probation, would not have been allowed to carry a gun.
None of that matters because he got shot in the back at point blank by cops, so.
I got his family right here.
The individuals involved in his murder took away a man with children who depended upon their daddy on a daily basis. My son is not the youngest. He is the oldest of his siblings. He is 15 years old. He had to watch this as this was put all over the outlets and everything that was possible to be shown. As a parent, one of the greatest fears is to see your child hurt and knowing there's nothing you can do about it.
It's a horrible thing that happened to him. And he didn't deserve that. He didn't deserve that. And I commend the person that finally bought that video up, because had she not bought it up, we would have been blinded. We never would have known what really happened.
What I'm calling for today is that the chief law enforcement officer, which is the mayor, to fire the chief of police immediately. Yes. I demand for the chief to be fired immediately. Yes. I demand that he resign if he has the guts.
So what we're asking for, and we have other leaders who have asked for the same thing, is for this investigation to be taken out of the hands of the Baton Rouge Police Department and handed over to Louisiana State Police. The mayor has said that he will not be involved in a cover-up, and the best way to ensure that there is no cover-up is to hand it over to some neutral third party.
What the fuck is a neutral? You handing it over to the Louisiana State Police is a neutral third party? Yeah, fucking right.
Well, here's some more quotes on him. I never seen him get out of hand with anyone. Who said a lady who said she purchased a CD from him a few minutes before the shooting. He could always make you laugh. A cousin who grew up with him described in prank calls and other jokes.
Oh wow, he was a human being.
He had a rough childhood. Blah blah blah.
But this is the thing. None of this matters.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I don't even give a fuck if he was a convicted felon. You don't get shot like that. I mean, look, I could barely see what was happening, but from what I could see it was two cops. They said he was 15.
Say what? The guy?
Yeah.
No, the guy was 37.
Oh, the kid next to him.
Oh, his son was 15.
Okay, so I mean, you could see the police was behind him, right? I mean, I don't know how easy it would be to pull up a screenshot, but they were clearly under control. This was just an excuse for a piece of shit cop to shoot a guy in the back. He's in Louisiana. Look, had there been no video, this wouldn't have been an issue. You know, how many thousands of times has this happened over the decades, and nobody ever even brought up an accusation because it's the word of a policeman versus the word of a black guy who's on probation. So automatically everyone's assuming he's a guilty bad person. But what is he on probation for? We don't know. It could have been a misdemeanor marijuana possession charge, and he never harmed a fly in his life.
It actually was. It was marijuana possession, and he had a weapon. That doesn't mean he had it on him.
Right. So he's in a state where he's on probation for doing something that's completely legal in Colorado. You know, this doesn't. He shouldn't be labeled. This shouldn't even be an issue. The issue is you don't get executed. He was executed by these police. That's the problem.
Yeah, and there's some speculation going on right now. There a lot of people are saying that I can't find a direct source from the police anywhere, but they're saying that the cops stated that their body cameras fell off of them before the incident, during the incident, so that's why they weren't able to get body camera footage. And
I believe him.
And that
I believe that he's not lying.
And that he had a gun in his pocket.
Of course he did. He's a black guy.
So
guns and basketballs, they go hand in hand. You know that?
Yeah.
It's like Mexicans, tacos, and fucking.
And how do you feel about the police, like, or not police, like the news pointing? I mean, obviously you got to point out that this is a black guy getting killed. How do you feel about the police pointing out that he was killed by white cops? Do you think it matters that the cops were white?
Absolutely.
I don't know. For me, I see it a little bit. I feel like as a police, you should. I mean, we shouldn't see the police as a color. We should see them as blue. You know, we should see it like that. But unfortunately, within the ranks, there are racist people who.
I mean, there are.
Yeah.
It's first of all, it's Louisiana. I'm sorry, but somebody grew up in the North. When I go down south, I fucking clearly see the difference between cultures, communities, social norms, and I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like, well, we should see them as we should see politicians as neutral and allied to the people.
But they're not.
Well, they're not. That's just how it is. Police are human beings too. How is it that the police have lighter rules, ROEs, rules of engagements? Their rule of engagements are so much less than a 19-year-old kid in a foreign country in the United States Army. He has to practice more discipline before returning fire than a cop in his homeland against citizens he's supposed to protect. He is able to fire faster and without hesitation than a fucking kid, a teenager sometimes, in a foreign country in a fucking war zone. Just stating the obvious.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
It's like when I was in Iraq, I knew a guy who, when you go into the cafeteria in Iraq, everywhere you go, you have a weapon with you. Before you go in the cafeteria, you got to clear your weapon in the clearing barrel. A guy went up to the barrel, popped off what we call a negligent discharge. It goes into, there's this barrel full of sand to keep you safe.
Discharge.
But anyways, I mean, it didn't hurt anybody. This is the safe way of doing it the wrong way. Anyways, he got bumped from E4 to E1. Had to do extra duty. Like,
what does this do with ROE though?
I'm saying, he didn't even shoot anybody. He just popped off a round. I mean, now imagine. I'm just saying, imagine how bad it is in the military when you actually shoot someone. You know, and it's not justified. You know. Another thing, it's like. The same. A lot of people are probably there are going to be those people that defend these cops' actions. Those are the same people that defended the police that choked Eric Garner and killed him. You know, and these are all the same people. Like, these are the same people who say that because of a few Muslims, we need to, because of a few bad Islamist extremists, we need to cut out all Muslims. But when the police do something wrong, they're like, oh, you can't blame all police just because of what a few did. You know, it's so fucking hypocritical.
Well,
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the thing is, the police aren't individuals. That when this happens hundreds of times, and we only get coverage of the ones that happen that are big. There's a lot more that happen that just don't blow up. You know, it's weird how the media just Who knows how it works where they decide which one is the one that we're going to focus on, and this is a big deal. But the police in general have rules that they follow. They all basically have the same, the federal government doesn't make the specifics on what police can do. But there's basic rules that all police and guidelines that all police abide by. And I lost my point because you're like scrolling through that.
Well, they can hear you.
I know. I was thinking, and then I fucking lost it.
Police go by certain guidelines.
Right. So they're an institution, and when you see repetitive actions, negative actions like this, you have to start asking yourself, what is wrong within the institution? How are we training the police? What is wrong with the academies? What are we doing? Not even we. What is the people who create the laws and the rules and the mandates for police to follow? What are they doing that is incorrect? What is the militarization? What is the effect of the militarization of the police affecting them mentally? So you got guys who didn't have the balls. A lot of them didn't serve, but they want to have a gun in their hand. They want to play fucking John Wayne, and then the police are like, okay, well, we'll give you Kevlar, we'll give you an M4, we'll give you fucking MRAPs, we'll give you fucking bazookas. They have arsenals in these police departments. And then these guys are walking around and they feel like they're at war. They want to be at war because they never, a lot of these guys, they have this fucking complex where they want to do this, but they never did it in real life. Because I can tell you, I can guarantee you that the police with most restraint, and I mean, I don't have any facts to back this up. I just know from experience. I've experienced life, and I've been in the military, and I've been out of the military. I've had run-ins with the police, good and bad. And I can tell you right now, I bet you the majority of the police involved in these incidents aren't veterans. So we have to ask ourselves, there's something wrong with the discipline and the training that these police are going through. Because I can almost guarantee you that the best police out there, the ones you run into and are most level-headed, are going to be the guys who have been trained in the military and have serious restraint, like have been trained to be super restrained on everything. High intensity situations, high stress situations, patience, dealing with all kinds of people, dealing with people you don't even understand their language. That takes fucking patience, understanding. These are things that the regular cop isn't getting, especially a 20-year-old cop on the street who doesn't know anything about other cultures, and he's dealing with stressful people and stressful situations and scary situations. I'm not saying it's not scary. It's scary because you don't know what the guy has, right? But you can't just jump to the conclusion that you have to murder this guy. Because at the end of the day, you're not at war. You're there to protect and serve. Literally, protect and serve. Your first response should never be grab your gun. Even though they're killing people with fucking tasers now. But I'm off my high horse now.
Well, and you can relate to the military in another way. Like, people who join the military know, especially during like a time of war, they know that there's the possibility that they could go to a war zone and get killed. It's the same thing with the police. You know that when you swear in to become an officer, that you could get killed. That this is a dangerous job. That you could lose your life, and your job isn't. And you hear so many people say it. They're like, police officer is just trying to come home alive at the end of the day. Unfortunately, that's not your job. Your job is to protect and serve. Protect and serve. It's not protect yourself. You signed up for a job where you can get killed. So. And
then people want to act like, well, they're just trying to live. They're just trying to make a living. No, they swore an oath. They're a public servant. So basically, their life isn't priority. It's your life is in their hands. So when people say, oh, a soldier's willing to die for your freedoms. Well, a cop should be willing to die for your protection, not the other way around. He should be willing to kill someone who's a fellow citizen to protect someone else. He should be putting himself out there.
I'm sure
there's been plenty of videos. Now, I would like to redo this another time where we show videos that have been controversial, where I actually would take the police's side. But this is definitely not one of them. Anytime someone has their back to the police, absolutely no reason for this was an execution. I want to see this guy fucking hung for this. Like, seriously. I hope something happens to this guy. Him, his partner, the department that allows these kind of guys to be trained. And then there needs to be a systemic, at the federal level, oversight and rewriting of how we police people, training and everything, and standards. Standards need to be risen because it's out of control. It's out of control.
How do you feel about when his family was in front of the cameras and the guy called for the resignation of the chief of police? How do you feel about that?
I mean, that guy's he just wants to get famous.
Yeah.
He's just like, yo, this is my moment. He's just like, I'm lucky. I'm on camera. I'm trying to get famous. Look, firing the police department chief isn't going to do anything. All it does is fix it in a little problem. This is a systemic problem. This has nothing to do with the department chief of that department is nobody. He has no power. This is not where the problem's coming from.
And I don't feel that I don't feel that putting the investigation in the hands of Louisiana State Police is enough. I feel like it needs to go higher than that because you're still a little bit too close to. Well,
who's in charge? I mean, who's in charge of the hiring, right? Like at the state level is the next rank in the tier system. It's the state, county, and city, whatever. So they're all still accountable to each other. So they're gonna look out for each other. This isn't a third party, like he says, investigation.
It's like normally when you see things happen. Like when you see things happen to white people with the police, you're like, oh shit, payday, and you know that check is coming. But look what happened with Eric Garner. There's clear video. He's alive 1 minute, standing up. Please get away from me. Then they choked him to death, and then he's dead on the ground a minute later. And they said it was justified, and his wife didn't get anything. Normally you'd think, oh, well, at least they're going to pay her a few $1 million for murdering her husband. No, they didn't give her anything. And we could see the same thing here. His family could come out with nothing. Just no dad, no anything, It's fucked.
Well, I don't know what that was about because we're not there yet.
Yeah.
He's just like thinking about the money. Like, how much money are they going to get?
Well, you can't get the guy back, so what's next?
What's next? Let's fucking get these guys fucking fired and held accountable first, and then figure out what the fuck they're gonna do. It's fucking hot out. Billy's over here like sighing and shit. Like, I'd rather be doing something else.
Man, I'd rather be on the beach somewhere, honestly. But
I wouldn't. I like talking about this shit.
Well,
there's time for the beach every day.
I could talk about it on the beach. Fuck.
Okay, so let's take our Wi-Fi, which we don't have on the beach, and go to the beach.
I got Cry-Fi.
Wouldn't that be dope?
It would be dope.
Satellite live from the beach.
One day, we're going to bring that to you. You see. All right, so sorry, Alton Sterling. Sorry, Sterling family, for your loss. Fuck. Well, next topic.
Wow, that was a great transition.
All right, yeah.
You need your own show.
Hey, today it is my show. So, all right. So, in Sweden, a female politician from the leftist party has said that when a Swedish man rapes a woman, it's worse.
I'm talking about Sweden. This is America.
Well, their colors don't run. How many Swedish people do you know in the United States?
I don't know. Swedish House Mafia.
Well, their colors don't run either.
Yeah.
The blue and yellow make green.
Go Sweden.
Anyway, so yeah, she said that when a Swedish man rapes, it's worse than when a I can pull it up directly. She said it's worse than when someone from another nation rapes. So her direct quote was, the Swedish men who rape do it despite the growing gender equality. They make an active choice. It's worse, in my opinion. So, what does that mean? Is that, when someone else does it, the thing is they're talking about the growing number of, they have a lot of refugees, a lot of Islamic immigrants in Sweden. What is a lot? to the tune of, I believe they said 78% of the rapes that happen are by Islamic males.
No, what I mean a lot is in like you say there's a lot of refugees. I was trying. What are the numbers?
That's a good question. I don't have an exact number on it.
Oh.
Shut up.
What?
How about you don't ask that question?
There we go.
No, but still, she's basically the thing that she's trying to say is that because they didn't grow up in a rape culture, that it's worse for them to do it. I disagree. I think it's bad no matter what. You know, I mean, like if you're
a rapist.
Yeah. To quote homeboy Sergeant Dunson, and what? Yeah, he said. What was his exact thing? He said
I don't know,
these.
he just said
He said Mexican rapists. Yeah.
What a guy.
I don't know what. So, what do you think? You think there's a difference between a Swedish guy raping a Swedish girl and an Islamic guy raping a Swedish girl? I think it's the same fucking thing.
It's not any different. She's just a racist piece of shit. She's like Ann Coulter, when she had a debate with Cenk of the Young Turks, and she was like, yeah, and she said specifically Mexican culture encourages child rape.
She goes,
and Cenk was like, you know, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you can't do that. So basically, the Swedish politician is doing the same thing. She's saying that because we should hold white people to a higher standard because we're better. It's like don't blame the dog because the dog doesn't know any better. Well, don't blame the immigrant because they don't know any better. You should know better.
She's
white
like,
man.
look. She's like, look. I mean, rape. She's like, rape is like bad and all. And she's like, but I get why you would do it. She's like, I know why you would. You're like a little goat fucker. I mean, you see these attractive white women with blonde hair and blue eyes around. I mean. And what can you do? I mean, all you can do is just pull your dick out and just go to town, you know? You can't help yourself, you know? Like, that's... fucking racist bitch. Well, shut up! This episode brought to you by barking dogs. Alright. So, moving on.
Wow.
Shut up, man!
So
you know
interesting.
What? You know what? I don't have the fucking camera angle to where like they just stop talking and then they turn and then the camera comes up. I don't have that. I don't have that fucking thing right there. You know?
Who said anything about another camera and angles? Kurt Angles.
Me. I did. I said it. All right. Shut up. So we got this. So there's a 19-year-old. He built a website, like a little applet that allows you to help. It helps you beat your parking ticket. It asks you a series of questions, and you go through the process. And I've got a link for it right here. We're gonna pull it up on screen. Basically, it asks you a series of questions based on what. To get the scenario for where you were parking and etc. And then it helps you print out the form and everything for your appeal. And so far, it's defeated over 160,000 parking tickets and like the equivalent of $3 million according to this. It started in the UK and then they rolled it out to New York. And it's I mean I think it's dope. I don't know. What do you think?
What?
I don't know. What do you think about it? I think it's pretty cool. I mean, and
yeah, of course it's pretty cool. You get out of parking tickets. I don't disagree with any of that. Was it a black or a white guy who invented it?
Well, he's alive, so I'm gonna guess he was white and he's from the UK. His name is Joshua Browder.
Sounds pretty white.
Sounds pretty white to me.
I don't know. I don't see where the debate is. What do you?
There's no debate.
Fuck that. We don't want to get.
There's no debate. It's just cool. You know, it's. I just think it's pretty cool, and that's
cool.
What. Okay.
I don't know what to say about that one. I really don't.
I don't know. I like it.
I mean,
I wanted to share it.
Everyone likes it,
and that's why I fucking shared it.
Except the police, probably.
Yeah. I could see that happening. Maybe not in the UK, but I could see it happening in the United States. They're going to be like, you're providing representation, blah, 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 and then try and like charge them or something. You know, they'll be like,
they'll create a law.
Yeah, why you can't do it. Because $3 million, I don't know if that's divided between the UK and the States, but he's definitely cutting into somebody's pocket. So
I don't know. I remember the last ticket I got. I was at the Veterans Administration Building in downtown Denver, and I was literally 5 minutes late, right? Because it's the VA. Everything's always running late. And there's absolutely no parking because it's always fucking full there. Imagine that, you know. Wow. That's another thing. That's a whole other issue. But I took longer than I thought. I paid actually 2 hours and I only expected to be there about a half an hour, but I wasn't sure. And I was 5 minutes over, and I fucking got a $75 ticket. And I wanted to write a fucking letter to the fucking city council and be like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I'm at the VA, I'm trying to take care of shit, and you guys are just like, bam, fuck you, we don't give a fuck. Like, I don't know. I was actually moving out of Denver. That's why, like, shortly after that. So I didn't care. But man, I wish I had a robot so that I could fill out a form and just fight the charge. Like, this is complete bullshit. Or drop it to $5. Why $75? Like, how many parking tickets or different types of tickets are written a day? That's a preposterous amount of money that's being they're just extorting out of people. And I'm not doing it. Nobody was doing anything ridiculous. I could see if you're an hour over parked, you know, people need space. Traffic needs to move. You can't have people just sitting in one spot all day. It's not fair. But 5 minutes, come on. It should be like by the hour. Like every 5 minutes, like $1. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Be reasonable. But on top of it, to do it at the VA, like, people are such hypocrites. Support the vets. Fuck you. They don't support that. They don't support you. They don't give a shit about you.
Yeah, I remember when I lived in New York, on some streets they'd have it where you could only park on this side on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and on this side on Tuesday and Thursday. So people would have to move their car to the other side of the street, and if you didn't do it, there was a cop out there in the morning giving every one of those cars a ticket, and it was like $180.
Damn.
That's New York price, but I don't know.
It's so ridiculous because you're like New York price. Yeah, people make a little more, but fuck. $180 is $180. I can still go on Amazon and it's worth the same whether I'm in New York City or fucking Texas or Alabama. Yeah, that's a lot of money. It's not like, $180. Yeah, the guy working at the corner store, at the convenience store, he's like $180. Whatever, I'm from New York City. That's $18 to me.
Yeah. Well, Robo Lawyer, thumbs up, man. So, Donald Trump, he's
Trump.
Yeah.
Kick a dog in the face.
He's gonna go shut that dog up. I'm gonna lead into this. Trump is apparently courting people right now to be. Obviously, he's gonna have to pick a VP, you know, and he's currently courting a few different people. One of which is Joni Ernst, somebody who ran for Senate. He met with her earlier this week. He said that it went really well. And if you don't know Joni Ernst, she's a former Army Reserve, National Guard, Lieutenant Colonel, and like I said, Trump met up with her. He said it was really well. I've got a little backstory on her. If you guys want to check it out, I got a little video right here of her running for Senate, and I'm gonna go ahead and play that now.
It's a mess. Dirty, noisy, and it stinks. Not this lot. I'm talking about the one in Washington. Too many typical politicians, hogging, wasting, and full of, well, let's just say, bad ideas. It's time to stop spending money we don't have and balance the budget. I'm Joni Ernst. I approve this message because cleaning up the mess in Washington is gonna take a whole lot of Iowa common sense.
She's not your typical candidate. Conservative Joni Ernst. Mom, farm girl and a lieutenant colonel who carries more than just lipstick in her purse. Joni Ernst will take aim at wasteful spending, and once she sets her sights on Obamacare, Joni's gonna unload. Oh, and one more thing. Joni doesn't miss much.
Give me a shot. I'm Joni Ernst, and I approve this message. I'm Joni Ernst. I grew up castrating hogs on an Iowa farm. So when I get to Washington, I'll know how to cut pork.
Joni Ernst, mother, soldier, conservative.
My parents taught us to live within our means. It's time to force Washington to do the same. To cut wasteful spending, repeal Obamacare, and balance the budget. I'm Joni Ernst, and I approve this message because Washington's full of big spenders. Let's make them squeal.
All right. What do you think about that? I think that no matter what, Trump is going to pick a female vice president, because there are going to be a lot of people that vote for Hillary just because she's a woman. You know, if it comes up and it's like, if Trump is just running with some dude as his VP, there are going to be people that vote for Hillary just because, well, it's time for a woman to be president. And if he picks a woman as VP, that's going to steal some of that, because then the people who were voting just because she was a woman, they might they have an option, and then they can still vote for a woman, but they can vote for a woman with the issues they choose or whatever, you know. And I think that's completely why he's choosing a woman as vice president. He's not going off of who he feels is the most qualified candidate. He's not doing anything. He's just trying to steal votes. And yeah, what do you think?
He's gonna go with anyway. It doesn't matter. He's obviously gonna go with a woman just because it's gonna counter the Hillary votes. But at the same time, it doesn't really matter if it's a woman or a man. He's gonna pick somebody. First of all, who does anybody know who Joni Ernst is? Who the fuck knows who she is? I've never heard of her. She literally just retired out of the military. So she literally has no experience being a politician or doing anything. She has experience in the military, which is something, but it's not anything near being a vice president. So he's going to pick whoever he can control, and basically somebody who is not going to do anything except do what he says. He's basically picking yes men or yes women. It's all about Donald Trump. That's it. Who's Joni Ernst? Nobody.
And in her commercial, she's like, she's like, when I take aim at Obamacare, bah, 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 bah.
It's pretty clear what she was saying there.
Yeah. She's like, I would like to repeal the Affordable Health Care Act, you know, like.
No, she wasn't saying that.
That's not what she was saying.
I'm saying they're like, let's shoot Obama.
She's like,
they had a gun. There was no reason. Why else would you say, take aim at Obamacare?
She's like, I'm gonna kill that Muslim.
That Muslim Kenyan.
Yeah, that Muslim.
I'm still waiting to see when he's gonna do his Muslim takeover.
Yeah,
he's only got a couple months left in office. When is he gonna do it?
He's
running out of time.
I don't know. I figured. Has he had his White House dinner with the Islamic Brotherhood yet? I heard that was coming up.
I heard him and Louis Farrakhan are pretty close.
Ooh, wow.
So Sergeant Dunson was quoting him last episode. So
yeah,
credible source. You know who Donald Trump should pick as his running mate?
Sergeant Leo Dunson, a man who knows.
Yeah, exactly. Or he should pick one of the Silk or fucking Diamond, one of those two squawk boxes.
I think Dunson's better. You know, the guy who said your sexual preference doesn't matter, but you need to know what mine is.
Exactly.
In his song. What's this fucking bark time?
All right.
Jesus, shut the fuck up.
You're gonna turn into a raging political guy against the dog, but you're gonna go viral for that. Watch this guy talk about Trump and then freak out on his dog.
Yeah.
The dog. Yeah, so I don't know. I think at the end of the day, Trump's gonna pick anybody who he can control. The presidency is already a pretty weak position. you really don't get to do anything except sign off on what Congress and the Senate want. So really, they're the ones who have most of the power. And then on top of it, the vice president. What does the vice president do? Nothing. How often has the vice president had to be called upon because the president wasn't available? Hardly ever.
Can you think of 5 things that Joe Biden has done in the last 8
Not
years?
even that. Not even that, because that wouldn't be fair. Can you name 5 vice presidents? That's the better question, right? Yeah. It doesn't happen, right? Lyndon B. Johnson, because he got, his JFK was assassinated. I didn't mean to laugh, but that's the only reason you would know who Lyndon B. Johnson was right now. Otherwise, he just would have been a disgruntled guy. So, this lady doesn't matter. She's nobody. She's like Palin was. She'll probably become famous now. She's going to be all over the news, and it's going to be important, but it doesn't take away from the fact that she's not a qualified individual.
Well,
and by the way, it wasn't even like she was a general. She was a lieutenant colonel. That's a pretty low rank. For retiring at lieutenant colonel is a pretty low rank.
23 years.
Right? You gotta at least hit full bird colonel if you're retiring after 20-something years of service. That's like if you retired enlisted at staff sergeant. Like you can do that, but like you gotta at least hit SAR first class.
Well, to give her a little bit of credit, it was between the reserve and National Guard, so it's a little bit more difficult in those positions.
Well, even no, because I say this. Well, it wasn't even active duty. So you can all the Army guys can look at that one and figure out what you want, but we all know the difference between active duty, National Guard, Reserve.
Hey, I was.
He's like, hey, I was in both. So it got a lot tougher when you got the National Guard.
Reserve.
Whatever.
No, it got a lot fucking easier and lazier.
So
it wasn't easier for the people who were working because they dump all the work on.
I don't know, man. When I was in Home Fells and we were running the fucking rotations before people were deployed, we would get National Guard and reserves, man.
They're just idiots.
Jesus Christ, you'd have captains. At some points there, I was a PFC. I was a private first class, pretty low rank, and I was I had the camera and I was helping the OCs, I can't even think of the acronyms anymore. I'm starting to lose them. Anyways, they're the people in charge of training, right? They're usually SAR first classes, high-ranking NCOs and high-ranking captains in the active duty military, who help prepare these guys for going down range, going to Afghanistan, Iraq. Jesus, the things you would see these people pull, National Guard and reserves, and that's not to insult, but it's to say the lack of preparation. So maybe they're just not putting enough money into it to train. But man, they would show up and just ate the fuck up. Like I would have to be helping officers on how to maneuver in a shooting situation, or it's like, come on, man. Like, how are you going to Afghanistan and you're an officer and you can't even lead soldiers? These people's lives depend on you, and you don't even know what you're doing.
How do you feel? Do you think Joni Ernst is more qualified than Sarah Palin?
I don't know. I would say automatic yes, because Sarah Palin never did anything.
That's true.
She ran for office unopposed in I don't even remember what year, but the thing is, Sarah Palin is dangerously stupid. I can't assume that this lady's stupid. She's not qualified, yes. But I can't assume she's stupid. To do 23 years in the military, you gotta at least be cunning and be functioning up here. It's a lot of responsibility, but it's a different type of responsibility than what you're gonna be doing when you're doing public service. It's not as easy as because I said so, right? That's the military. That's the kind of stuff that comes down to it. At the end of the day, it's just because I say so, or because he said so. So it's pretty black and white. Politics, not so much.
Yeah, well, Sarah Palin she's had so many opportunities to look like a complete fool in front of the camera, So I think I kind of weigh that in a lot. We haven't seen enough of Joni Ernst. We don't.
Yeah, it's hard to have an opinion on that.
We haven't seen her be, truly candid in front of an audience of 20,000 people, or national television for that matter, So
it's true.
We'll see, but apparently Trump likes her, so we might hear more from her. She could, in a few months, she could be the vice president of the United States. I don't know. we'll see. All right, so the main topic piece for this episode, as a lot of you probably already know, Hillary Clinton is not going to be indicted for having classified documents on her private email server at her house. Everybody was like, that was one of the things that was that Bernie Sanders has been talking about for a few months now. He's and I believe it's like one of the reasons why he's remained in the race is because he said that Hillary Clinton could possibly be indicted, and we need to have a candidate in case that happens, etc. And that's what I
disagree. But go ahead.
Well, I thought, if I'm not mistaken, I thought that's what he was going to bring to the DNC at the convention, that that she could still get indicted, and you need to pick another person, and
yeah, but that's really not. That's the conventional reason that he'll give as an excuse to people who can't fathom the idea that maybe he's doing it because he really cares. Maybe it's for him. It's not about him winning. Maybe to Bernie Sanders, he really truly believes in what he's doing, and he believes that he's ignited a lot of young people into the process who otherwise wouldn't be in. So at the end of the day, he's going to push it to the limit. Why? Not only because he believes in it, but because he can afford it. People are paying into his campaign, and he can keep going because not only does he believe it, but the people backing him believe it. So it's not like Jeb Bush or these other guys, Marco Rubio, who go broke because they're trying to win, and they have people who need them to win who are financing. When they realize, oh, you're not going to win, cut the money, not going to run anymore. Yeah. Bernie Sanders it's not about winning, it's about the process, and it's about doing the right thing. And regardless of if he's going to win or not, he's going to go until he's legally not allowed to go. I believe until he can't anymore, and that's good because there shouldn't be another option. We had three choices from the beginning, basically. Trump. I mean, there was more, but they never really had a chance. Trump, Hillary, and Bernie. So I don't like the idea of people coming in, third party Gary Johnson. Like, he's a good guy, but Gary Johnson is just a younger, cleaner, nicer version of Bernie Sanders. And why do we have to go with the nicer, cleaner version? What's wrong with the first option? There's nothing wrong with the first option. It's just easier for people who don't want to admit and change and change when they've been giving new information. Instead of doing that and letting new information change their views, they just double down and they're like, no, definitely not Bernie Sanders. Even though I guarantee you, there's millions of more people now who not only know who Bernie Sanders is, but probably agree with a lot of what he's saying compared to last summer when he was pretty, nobody knew who he was. He wasn't very popular.
When he was polling like not even 10%.
Right. So yeah. I'm saying that the reason he's saying was for that. He wasn't saying for the Hillary indictment. Yeah. But
well, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I like that he stayed. I like that he stayed in because
all the way to the end.
Revolution.
Go Bernie.
I mean, revolutions aren't won by quitting.
Oh, don't use that word. That's as soon as fucking certain people hear that, they just you communist. Revolution.
Trigger word.
Like this country wasn't founded by one, but that's none of my business. Right?
Yeah.
Trigger word. Yeah. That's what it is.
All right.
Makes them shut down. They hear that word, they're like, dude.
So I got some. I got a clip right here going back into the talking about the indictment. I got a clip right here. Hillary Clinton versus the FBI. Let's play this.
I did not email any classified material to anyone. There is no classified material. 110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received. I provided all my emails that could possibly be work-related. Several thousand work-related emails that were not among the group of 30,000 emails returned by Secretary Clinton. I thought using one device would be simpler. She also used numerous mobile devices to send and to read email. There were no security breaches. It is possible that hostile actors gained access to Secretary Clinton's personal email account.
It was my practice to communicate with State Department and other government officials on their .gov accounts.
The hostile actors gained access to the private commercial email accounts of people with whom Secretary Clinton was in regular contact from her personal account.
No doubt that we've done exactly what we should have done.
They were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information.
People will be able to judge for themselves.
We cannot find a case that would support bringing criminal charges on these facts.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
To be clear, this is not to suggest that in similar circumstances, a person who engaged in this activity would face no consequences.
Americans will find that, interesting, and I look forward to having a discussion about that.
So there's that. I feel like this is them basically just looking us right in the face and saying she's, like, as a lot of people are saying, quote unquote, too big to jail. You know, like. I don't know.
Not too big to fail.
Yeah.
You gotta make the correlation, you know?
Yeah.
Too big to jail.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know how many of you guys watch soccer, but Messi just got indicted for tax evasion. He got sentenced to 21 months in prison and a $2 million fine. But he's not gonna do a day in prison. They're like, somebody made a deal in the background. They're like, look, guy, and you don't have to go to jail. But, go into a store, physically steal a bag of potato chips. You're going to do more jail time than fucking getting convicted on tax evasion for millions of dollars. Tell me that's justice. Different country, same principle. It happens here, it happens there, it happens everywhere. Money talks. Hillary talks.
Wesley Snipes went to jail for tax evasion.
He's black.
Yeah, good point. He deserved it. He deserved it.
You gotta remember, he's black.
Anyway, I mean, you know how it was in the military. Like, Hillary's been in politics for 40 years. She knows what a fucking classified document is, and she knows how to handle classified. She knows how to handle sensitive data. If you had something, if you received an email that was listed as classified, and you copied that shit to a thumb drive, or you took it home, you took it somewhere, and somebody found out, what's going to happen to you? What would have happened to you? Even if it was some bullshit, even if it was just some bullshit that was marked classified and had nothing to do with fucking anything.
I don't know, you'd probably go to Fort Leavenworth.
Yeah, they're probably gonna put you in jail, and at the minimum, you're gonna lose all your rank. They might even, and they'll probably chapter you out of the military. They'll fuck you over on that. But Hillary, she's like, oh, I'm gonna have this private server at my house with 100-something classified emails across 52 different email chains, so different, like, talking to different people. She's like, but I didn't know, and that's the thing. They're saying that she didn't know, and that's why they're not charging her. They can't prove that she knew she was doing something wrong.
But can you? I have to get back, and I have to look at it from a different standpoint, because to me this was all bullshit in the first place. The Benghazi investigations, there's been 9, nothing's been found. It's all fucking bullshit, okay? There's a certain segment of America that has a lot of money who doesn't want Hillary to win. All right, what Hillary did was wrong, right? But what can you do to tell me that what did she do illegally? What did she do that was so bad, right? That was more than just negligent or stupid, right? So it was stupid. But what did she purposely do that was illegal and was a danger to our nation? Go ahead, answer that question.
Well,
go ahead.
She transferred classified information to a private server at her house.
Okay, yeah. She was the Secretary of State, right? So you don't have an idea, I don't have an idea, we don't know the context or the rules and what can. Obviously, you're not supposed to do that. But when they say you can't do that, there's a lot of things that these guys shouldn't be doing, but they do, right? So to me, this is just, and she's probably not the first one to do this, right? There's been a ton of people. I don't know, because it's such a they picked this and they just went with it, right? And all because they don't want her to get elected. And I don't want her to get elected. I'm not defending her. But what I'm saying is, like, in their quest to destroy her name, it's almost like it worked against them. Because now there's a huge a group of people who are really behind her, who feel like, oh, she's just getting hammered out because she's a woman, because of, and it's probably true, but there's 100 other things that I could point to you, and I have proof of, that says, look, Hillary is a corrupt, bought for, paid for individual who doesn't really give a shit about the people. That's what is important. But this is just noise. This is noise so that the average citizen can just be like, oh my God, the email. When really none of you even know what the fuck is going on. Nobody really knows what happened. We just know the details they give us, right? So that's the thing. To me, I don't really give a shit about her. I don't care about that. Benghazi wasn't a cover-up. There was no scandal. It was a fucked up situation in a place that people... Look, there are embassies all over the planet. It's a dangerous job, especially when you're in a place like that. Shit happens. You can't put the responsibility on the president when he has millions of other people he's in charge of, thousands of other locations around the world, right? You can't micromanage everything. You just have to trust people who are on the ground. It was a bad situation. People died, but you know what? That's part of the fucking job. When you sign up to go be a fucking security whatever, whether you're private or government, and you get based in Libya, it's not like you're walking down the street in the middle of Delaware and somebody shoots you in the head. That is rare. What's not rare is dying in a war zone, right? So it's not Hillary's fault. There's already been 9 investigations. They're probably going to do a 10th because they really want to ruin, and they're just going to keep going until the election, and then they're going to drop it. Why? Because she'll be president and she'll fuck them, or because it won't matter because they got what they wanted. You're right? I guarantee you'll hear about none of this next year, because 2 of those things will happen. Either she'll become president, or because she'll lose and it doesn't matter anymore. They got what they wanted. That's how unimportant it is.
Well, it's a political thing. Well, I have a
just playing devil's advocate. I still think she's a fucking whore.
I don't.
Not a whore.
I don't like her. Well, here's a clip I have that some people were sharing on the internet, and it seems they say this is like possibly a precursor to her putting an email server in her house that couldn't be snooped on by the government. And I'm gonna play this clip right here.
Senator Clinton and her staff now act as if she barely knew Peter Paul. But his home videos tell a different story, starting with a private lunch Paul co-hosted for Mrs. Clinton at the Beverly Hills restaurant Spago.
I'm excited.
In fact, Paul's home videos...
Hey, if you notice right there, that's Stan Lee.
picked up Mrs. Clinton, saying she had stopped using email messages because of all the investigations she had been through.
I've been investigated all that. You know why? Right, yeah. But my God, why would I ever want to do email? No. Can you imagine?
Paul.
She said, as much as I've been investigated, why would I want to do email? Can you imagine?
Says he put up $30,000 to be the co-host.
So the rest of it doesn't matter on that. But a lot of people were saying that clip right there is like her talking, basically saying why would I want to do email anymore, because the government investigates all of my emails, and they say that's a precursor to her having an email server in her house. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean,
that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't fucking know.
And anybody who claims to really know is fucking lying. All right. I'm not defending Hillary once again, but you can't classify willful misconduct with stupidity, or like you don't know if she seriously didn't understand what she was doing, or if there's so much responsibility on that kind of people. You know, we love the United States and people think it's so great. Well, you should treat it that way. You should treat the fact that being Secretary of State is a pretty fucking demanding job with a lot of responsibility, and sometimes people cross the line between legal and illegal, and you can't, unless you can prove that they willfully did something to hurt to intentionally hurt the United States, you shouldn't hound on the person like this. Just like I don't think we did it the same thing with fucking God, he's exiled right now, or whatever the fuck the word is. What's his name? Snowden. I'm against what they're doing to Snowden because they can't prove
he's not exiled.
Whatever. He's out of the country and he doesn't want to come back because they're threatening to arrest him. And he did something along the lines of what Hillary did, a little more towards the treasonous side, but it's it's like that. But the thing is, he's not Hillary, so he can't just pay to play. He's gonna get hammered because they need to make an example of someone all the time, and it has to be the guy who can't fight back. So it's gonna be him.
Well, here's where I think a lot of people that are watching this might raise this question to you: is I don't know how should I phrase this? Is ignorance of the law an excuse for breaking it?
No, it's not an excuse, but there is a difference. When you're in court, there's a definite difference, and any fucking attorney would defend somebody, and sentencing and everything would depend. That's the difference between manslaughter and murder. When you intentionally do something, it's worse than if you break the law, but you didn't realize what you were doing. You didn't mean to. So you killed somebody by punching him in the face, right? You did something, so you assaulted somebody, but you never intended to kill that person because you don't understand that's not normal. That's not usually what happens. So yeah, okay. So everybody who dies, who gets punched in the head, that person who punched them should be treated as a first-degree murderer? No, because it's not what the intention was. So it does matter, the gravity. That's what I'm saying. There's a difference between, I think, if she made a fucking dumbass mistake and if she willfully was trying to do something to hurt the welfare of the United States or its citizens. I think there is a difference. I believe there is a difference.
Well, and there is a difference between her and Snowden. I mean, Snowden was like,
well, yeah,
I did
released
this.
It for it, yeah.
What do you think about? I like Snowden. I think I felt like he did the right thing.
I think he's a hero.
Yeah, because for so long you had so many people that were like, the government's spying on everything. They're in your computer, they're in your phones, they're everywhere. They're recording all of it, and everybody was like, put your tinfoil hat on, you fucking weirdo, all that. He lifted the veil and said, you know what? They're spying on everyone, everywhere, all of the fucking time. And I don't know if you guys can hear that, but that's my.
I don't know what. It's like the third time it's going off. He's like,
yeah, I know.
I'm not gonna turn this off or put it on silent.
I don't know how to do that.
He's like, I don't take my job seriously.
Okay, Super Mario fucking or Power Rangers fucking ringtone every fucking time.
Hasn't gone off once yet. Anyways,
it hasn't. Nobody likes it.
So there you go.
I feel
That's
like...
his alarm for his head medicine. So yeah, I think he's fine. Look, so it goes back to all this correlates, right? Because he releases information, like him and even Manning, Chelsea Manning, Bradley Manning, whatever he's going by. What he did was dangerous, right? And he deserves to be punished. But at the same time, you got to ask yourself, when these people, like these files and these things they release, it also releases a lot of things that incriminates people in powerful positions who break the law. And they pay each other off to keep silent so that nobody does anything. And then we turn around, like the same people who are going after Hillary will go after him, even though he's the type of person who usually would normally expose the crime she's committing. And people are like, yo, we want to see her emails. Well, somebody like Bradley Manning, circa 2008, 2009, was releasing that kind of information because the government otherwise didn't want to give it to you, right? So some of what he did was pretty bad and it could be seen as dangerous, but look at it the other way, right? There's two sides to every story. Now, that's the way, the context you got to look at it. So that's how we should pass judgment. Me as an individual, I can't, because I don't know the exact details of all these cases. Neither do you. Yeah. Neither do the news media. The only people who know are the people involved and the people in the prosecution. But all we're getting is all you get is one side, and then you pick what you like and you just run with it, and then it just blows up.
Look at it like this: if somebody had some information about the government that was gonna fuck a lot of people, you know, or was gonna reveal something that the government was lying to you about something, and they had it, and they were like, hey, I've got some information here, and it's pretty damning. It's got some stuff, and it impacts you. It impacts all American citizens, but it's classified. Do you wanna see it? How many people are gonna say, no, it's not for me to see. It's not for me to know. How many people are gonna do that? Fucking no one. They're gonna be like, show me the fucking emails, man. I want to know. And they don't care. They don't care what it's gonna.
So what do? They're like, look, we can't have this information getting out. You know what? We're gonna label it as it's a threat to America. So, you gotta realize he put people at risk.
Well,
probably not. The thing is, he probably didn't. But in order for these things to stick, they have to convince the people that what they did was dangerous, like bad. But the thing is, he originally wasn't looking to fuck the United States. It's not like he was saying down with America. He was just saying, look, there's so much bad shit going on that no one's finding out about that I want people to know about, which is not legal. No, it is not legal to do that, because if it's classified, you can't unclassify it.
It's like,
but look at it from the other point of view, right? So when you're able to sympathize with the people and understand what their underlying intention was, then we could say, okay, prosecute him because he shouldn't do that. But we need to rewrite the laws. We need to rethink the way we prosecute people who are whistleblowers, who are literally sacrificing themselves because he knew what he was doing was illegal and he was at risk, but he felt like the good outweighed the bad. And honestly, I think in 100, 200 years, when you're looking back, they're going to look at this guy and they're not going to look at him the way we look at it. They're going to say it became a movement, because you got to remember that internet, all this digital shit is new. It's literally 20 years, 30 years since this existed. And he was one of the first people who just said to the government, I'm just going to expose things. Right? Julian Assange is another example, right? He was the one that was getting the information passed to from, but he's on an international scale. He's exposing everyone.
Another way to look at it, if you wanna take the perspective, like both sides of the coin, is look at it like this. You know, it came out that we were spying on Angela Merkel.
Mm-hmm.
All of her.
Sure, Germany was happy.
Like we were spying on all of her emails, phone calls. We knew her
That's
location
illegal.
at all times. We knew all that. We knew everything about her at all times. What if, when Snowden had released this information, what if when it came out, what if it wasn't Angela Merkel? What if it was Putin? Will we be at war right now? There's a chance we would be. You don't think so? No. If they were like, all right, we know where.
No, because Putin's not an idiot.
He's not an idiot, but he does have China on his side.
Yeah, but why would we destroy Earth when we could make billions?
That's true.
What is China versus Russia versus the United States going to do other than annihilate
the planet?
He's like, let me think. I have all the money in the world, or I could risk it all. Like, what more could Putin possibly want? Yeah. This is all. It's like, I think what was it? George Carlin just said it's the fucking who has the who has the bigger dick foreign policy, like the Rockets represent the dicks, and whoever has the biggest one wins. Yeah, it's all just fucking political gamesmanship, fucking pumping your chest and walking around fucking flapping your tail. It's all a big game, and it's not like back in the old days where, you know, in the old days, I mean like 1800s, the whole world would go to war and it would be in certain places, and you know, you wouldn't even see, if you're even in Germany, right? They didn't see it till the very, very, very end of the war when they got attacked. In the United States, they never saw anything other than Pearl Harbor. But now, if there's a World War now, right? This is Trump talking. If there's a World War now, trust me, there isn't a single person on this planet who's not going to feel it. Not a single person. And they're not idiots. They understand this. And you'll lose a lot. So it's better to go to economic war. It's better to create these proxy wars like Ukraine, a skirmish in Ukraine, a skirmish in Afghanistan, little proxy wars in other countries, because what, they make money. You can play your games, throw your troops around. This to them is a game, and it's not worth risking the entire planet for them. They still want to live and make their money. There's no money in nuclear annihilation.
Coney 2012.
No, that's what's hot. No, that was hot 4 years ago. Sorry.
What do you think about just this week when you're talking about Julian Assange and WikiLeaks? That I think it was just like 3 or 4 days ago, they released some like 3,000 emails that they said we're going to guarantee that Hillary Clinton would be indicted or whatever. I think it's too little, too late. You know, it's just
well,
they see him. It's like they see him as Assange. They see him as a criminal too. He's where? Isn't he in like? Is he in like Bolivia or somewhere? He's like in like an embassy. He's in an embassy somewhere and he can't come out.
I thought he was in the UK at the Venezuelan embassy.
Oh yeah, Venezuela. Okay, yeah.
One of those countries. Uruguay, Venezuela.
He's in one of them, and basically there's people waiting outside the door 24/7 for him to come out so they can arrest him.
Well, it's definitely not a game of morals, so it is too late.
Yeah.
Too late. That's
So
what's gonna happen.
I think, and so basically anything that comes from him, they're just like, whatever. We're not gonna listen to him. He's a criminal, and so it doesn't. Yeah. So like I said, too little, too late. It doesn't matter, and I don't know that. Just like we were saying a few weeks ago, like in our first or second episode, when we were talking about this indictment. Yeah, nothing is going to happen. That was that's it. And Hillary Clinton will be the. I love Bernie, but Hillary Clinton will be the the Democratic nominee. You know.
She's gonna win. Donald Trump's not gonna beat her.
You think she'll be president?
You can't win the general election without the black, women, and Latino vote. Period. That's just the numbers. It's just a fact.
Trump got the black vote. He got Sergeant Dunson.
Shit, I forgot.
Sergeant Dunson is the black vote.
He is the voice of a new generation. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
that was
another episode.
Yeah.
Episode 4 via
4 down. We'll do another one in a few days. Whenever. Fuck you. But if you guys like it, man, seriously, share this shit with your friends. I mean, subscribe to our Knowledge Entertainment YouTube page, you know? Go to the Young Jerks page, like it, share the post with your friends, man. We're not, we're not really doing this to gain likes or a fan base or anything. We're doing it because we like it. But if you like it too, share it with your friends, you know?
Or don't.
Yeah, whatever. All right, well.
I'm going to keep doing it anyways.
All right. I'm gonna go eat a cheeseburger and feel free. So, Young Jerks out.